Phil Spencer is back to talking, and what great timing he has, because it comes at a point in time where Xbox fans, or at least some Xbox fans, are a little bit disappointed in the fact that Microsoft isn't really making much waves in terms of announcements or showcasing their games and things like that, while Sony, on the other hand, has had multiple AAA releases this year already and have had a couple of state of plays, and there's another one, even though it's a multi-plat, coming later on. So yeah, it's a little bit interesting to see how Phil and company has kept a little bit quiet. They seem to be wanting to take the approach of one big blowout a year, which would obviously be the E3 time, but it's still looking like, you know, Microsoft and Sony are going to have a lot to offer this year, and we're seeing a lot of fans kind of respect what's happening. You know, for me personally, I love the fact that, you know, Microsoft is obviously listening to the fans. They're going out there, getting developers, making sure that they have, you know, games for players to play, and that's super important. But I get the frustration because, you know, obviously it's one of those things that I was part of for a long time. For years, they really struggled with games, and now, I hate to say this, but it's almost silly to be upset at them now because they've already announced so much. They've got 33 studios. It's like, what more can they do? Yes, it'd be nice if they got some stuff out there. Yes, it'd be nice if we got some information, but do we do that at the expense of a big blowout where some of this stuff is a surprise? And that's the part where I'm like a little bit conflicted the most on, because I think I like the E3 surprise way that they do things, but I just think that they should probably do more than one show a year at the end of the day. I'm going to get into his announcements, what he said, what I think, and wondering what you guys think, but let's do it. Hey everybody, I'm Crap Gamer, and this of course is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from leaving us a like, and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me. It means a lot to me. I know how busy you guys all are, but thank you guys very, very much. You guys have been amazing, and I'm really just blessed to have so many great fans, and you know, you guys have just been there with me along the way, whether you're new or whether you're a long-time subscriber or whatever. I'm just know that you're appreciated. So it's nice that Phil's out there kind of talking about all these kind of things, all these little bits and pieces of information sound really interesting to me, and this is what I was talking about as an Xbox fan, and I get a little bit of hate for it. People think it sounds a little anticlimactic or a little bit like you're just kind of pom-pomming for them, but this is what they wanted to get to for a long time, and I can remember them wanting to get to this point previously, and people kind of laughed when they said that, because they've struggled with getting content out for so long. There's always going to be negative, like, you know, it's just the nature of the beast, as far as I can tell. Like, I know some of you guys might follow me on Twitter or something like that. I love Twitter, but I've been super not as active, or hardly active at all in there, because I like both sides. Like, I like PlayStation, I like Xbox, and for me, you know, there's just a lot of extremism on both sides, and I know that's funny coming from me, but honestly, I just think that it's just one of those things that, you know, kind of comes with the territory, some of it, but it's just like, I don't want to get in on it, because for me personally, I just felt like it's silly to do so, right? Like, I think both have a lot of great things going for them. So when Phil Spencer's out here making some of these announcements, it's that much more impressive. But what he had to say was incredible. 2021 was an excellent year for Microsoft as a publisher, thanks to releases like Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 4, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo Infinite. Though looking ahead to 2022, things are looking a little drier, which is funny because that's exactly what I said. I told people, I'm like, listen, I wouldn't brag right now, because if you look at the releases for next year, and I said this last year, you know, it doesn't look that great. You know, I'm sorry, it just doesn't. But anyway, with the vast majority of Xbox first-party games currently in development, like Fable, Avowed, and Perfect Dark, and others looking unlikely to launch before 2023 at the earliest, according to Xbox boss Phil Spencer, however, the aim for Xbox Game Studios as a whole is to have kind of a pipeline where they can routinely and consistently deliver a healthy stream of games to players with regularity. Speaking in a recent episode of a podcast, Spencer said, and I quote, "We do have a lot of great games in development. We want to get to this point where there's a steady flow of great games that are coming that our customers can predict. Where we're going through right now, you know, we don't have a big game this quarter. So Matt Booty and the teams and the ZeniMax teams want to get to the point where we can really have a great on-ramp for our platform and games that people can get excited about on a regular basis. This, of course, has been Xbox's stance for a while. Back about a year ago, the company explicitly stated that it wants to get to the point where it releases at least one major first-party game every quarter of the year. Now, given the sheer number of first-party teams under Xbox Game Studios' belt and how many more will be added once the Activision Blizzard acquisition is finalized sometime in 2023, one would imagine Microsoft will eventually get to that point. For now, we have Redfall and Starfield to look forward to in 2022, while you'd imagine also Deathloop will launch for Xbox Series X and S and Game Pass once its PlayStation timed exclusivity period comes to an end later this year. But the very interesting part to this for me is, you can get a Forza Motorsport as well, which is heavily rumored to come out this year. So you could end up getting 3, and it might not be every quarter, but you can imagine, still getting 3 big AAAs is pretty good considering. And then going into next year, we've heard the possibility, at least from people like Jeff Grubb, that you could be seeing stuff like Avowed, Hellblade 2, and things like that. So really, it kind of comes down to what they're going to be able to kind of get out the door, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, it's an exciting time to be a gamer, and as fans, we sit there and we watch these things and we see these the way that these companies kind of go, and it's just interesting to me that Microsoft has never really been in the position that they're in right now. I know it's easy to look at them and go, oh, you know what, well, Microsoft is kind of dropping the ball, because they have dropped the ball previously, right? But it's also very interesting because, as far as I can tell, they've really kind of picked things up and they've really kind of ran with it. And I know it doesn't seem that way, and it's hard to look at things that way because Microsoft has had that sort of negativity surrounding them in more recent years, and I get that because I was negative on them as well. But at the when it's all said and done, I feel like Microsoft has done a good job of rebounding from that. But there's always going to be people that are going to find some kind of reason to sort of dislike what Microsoft is doing, or say that Microsoft isn't going all out or whatever. I personally don't feel that way. I think what they're doing has been nothing short of amazing, and they've managed to do it in a pretty good amount of time. What was interesting is the real kind of meat and potatoes of this didn't end right there. Like, it was very interesting that they were talking about that, but there were other things that they were kind of talking about as well. When he was talking about his most anticipated games, which I thought was a really cool kind of topic, he actually said a surprising one. He revealed that State of Decay 3 is currently his most anticipated game alongside Starfield. He said, and I quote, "This is so hard because we have so many teams that are doing so much great work. You mentioned Starfield. I'll just have to say that because Todd's been a friend for an awfully long time. It's not often that Todd and the team at Bethesda create a new IP. They're doing a lot of engine work. I've been spending some time with Todd and the team and just talking about how things are going, and we are tracking. So a ton of excitement around that. Another team, and this one's probably not that big of a surprise to people who've watched me play, but I was a big State of Decay 2 player. So Undead Labs, looking at State of Decay 3, I'm incredibly excited about some of the advancements they're going to make. They have this pattern, they've talked about it publicly from State of Decay 1, 2, and 3, and what they want to do. We haven't shown a lot on State of Decay 3, but it's a game that I just really enjoy playing. I'm a big co-op player, and so that's something that we can look forward to. The interesting part about this is he mentions State of Decay 3, and it was formally announced in 2020, and he says that he's played it. So yeah, I think that that's a very interesting little tidbit, because we weren't really sure exactly how far along that was, because it was in the pre-production phases. I think, interestingly enough, we had a situation where Microsoft, and when it comes to Undead Lab, they actually bought and opened a new support studio in Florida to help with the creation of this game. So I still think this game is a little bit a ways, but it is nice to know that they're actually playing it. And obviously with it being an Unreal Engine 5, it could still be a whiles away, but maybe we see a little snippet of it at this particular E3 or something along those lines. So yeah, very nice to hear that the games are coming along, and this is what fans have been wanting to hear for a long time. Because like I said, it does seem like Sony's getting all the hype out right now, and they're getting all the talk, all the press, and all the kind of heat and action. So finding out that it's at least in a playable state, so we know some of these things are coming up. And yes, trust me, I get it. Sony's doing a bang-up job. I'm not knocking Sony in the least. They're doing an absolutely fantastic job. And I think that they're kind of doing a doing a pretty good job with it. So, I'm excited about the future of it. I'm excited about what they're going to be able to do, and it's nice to see that some of this stuff is probably going to get shown off this year. With that being said, what are you guys looking forward to? Are you guys hyped for the Xbox stuff? Letting all the nonsense and fanboyism aside, as gamers, I think people should be hyped. Let me know what you think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.